See, to me, a quilt was synonymous with a duvet. I didn't really think much of it. I mean, some of them can be pretty, but what's the big deal, right? Wrong. I learned so much at the Festival of Quilts, and honestly, I said it in my last video, I'll say it again, mind-blowing. But here, I'm going to share with you some of the lessons that I learned from my very first Festival of Quilts. Hi, and welcome to Not That Deep, where we're not that deep, but we also realize it's not that deep. I'm Tina, and today I'm hoping to share with you some of the lessons that I learned from my very first Festival of Quilts experience. If any of you are unaware, Festival of Quilts is this massive festival. It's one of the biggest quilting events in Europe. It is a whole big deal. And I went in there as a complete newbie, but now my respect level is up there. It's up there. So I went to the Festival of Quilts on the Sunday, and it was my first time, and I thought it was fabulous. So on to lesson one. Lesson one, in my opinion, was that quilts can actually be used as a form of demonstrating belonging, community, solidarity. That's a big deal. Like, this inanimate object all of a sudden brings people together and is a representation of what we stand for or what we're hoping to achieve or what we believe in. That's huge. It's almost synonymous with a flag. I mean, this might be very obvious to some of you, but for me, it was a real eye-opener. It really can bring people together, make people feel as one. And also, there were a bunch of quilts that were worked on by these people in communities. I managed to get a picture with this quilt that I thought was really pretty. But it was worked on by all of these people in this community that was taught by this lady. I'll put her up on the screen. And that, to me, imagine looking at that and knowing that me and my community actually put our hearts and souls into this thing. That was really sweet to me. I really liked that. Lesson number two. Some of these quilts were political. Like, wow. Talk about making digs and getting your point across, again, through this item that is a quilt. That is such an impressive tool. What a way to express yourself, to get your message across. I thought that was really powerful, actually, because again, it takes this object that can be anything, really, and gives it a message, sends it on a journey, and makes it deliver its message through art, beauty, effort, and I think finesse as well. Lesson number three. Some of these quilts were interactive. There were at least 2 quilts that I took instructions from on that day, and never did I think I would be taking instructions from a quilt. That was so cool to me. So one of them recommended or advised, if you like, us to stand in front of it, but then you were sort of met with these gorgeous wings. It basically gave you wings, and it actually exclaimed at the top that you are a fiery angel. And I thought, how empowering. It's a quilt, but it's making you feel powerful, making you feel stronger. Like that is, what'd you say to that? It's gone from fabric pieces to something that can actually build up your confidence by just being there. Yeah, that's really cool in my eyes. And then another one that I saw had been put together in the form of a QR code. So you basically had to scan it, and when you scanned it, it took you across to a link in YouTube. I was very nervous that it was going to be a link to Rick Roll. Thankfully it wasn't. But again, just that the thought to embed technology with the quilt. I thought that was so cool. I mean, yeah, completely nerded out at that one. I thought it was really cool. Lesson number 4 was that some of these were actually built to mark an event. And in that way, in my mind, it was basically taking the role of a photograph. So rather than, obviously technology has made some of us really lazy these days. You can just click a button and then you've got that piece of history, or that piece of the present captured in history forever, or for as long as you can keep the photo. But now you've actually put in work and effort to recreate that moment and to have that held as a reminder of a moment that happened in the past. Again, I mean, that was solid to me. I really liked that because the concept behind it, and it just thinking about the amount of man hours that had to go in there to put or bring that quilt to life. But it was all for that moment that it recreated. I don't know. I found that pretty profound. I quite liked that. Lesson number 5. Some of these were real storytelling pieces. Like, they would actually take you on a journey and make you think, wow, it's a quilt. Again, I mean, the real quilters, again, this is probably not new for you. But for me, it was, remember, I thought these were just duvets, okay? Don't judge me. But now it's telling a whole story. There was one of them that had sort of 2 halves, and one of them was sort of demonstrating the importance of reading, and you could just see how the imagination comes alive from the power of books. And then the other half had a screen, and it was sort of showing how the mind was blank, and that there isn't much of the imagination sparked from the screen. You got all of that from a quilt. The quilt did that, said that. That's impressive to me. So yeah, storytelling pieces, really cool. I would also add that some of them were actual art forms. They were actually art pieces, but made from fabrics and threads with wadding in the middle. See, in my mind, again, when I think of art, and maybe I am just narrow-minded, but it's opening my mind to so much more. But when I thought of art, I thought of paint or a sculpture. But now we've got a quilt that has been crafted and pieced together to make magical things, like insanely attractive pieces of fabric. Like, they were so good. They were so good. So good. So inspiring. So yeah. The amount of expression that could be done through this, it really was an art form. And that boggled my mind a little bit. I wasn't necessarily ready. I don't think. I think it really hit me by surprise. But now, really, lastly, I would also add that I learned that some of them were just almost sort of ways of showcasing talent. Like, they were put together so delicately, so thoughtfully. You could just see the love and effort pouring out of these quilts. Like, I'm not a quilter. I can sew. But you could just see how much thought had gone into those pieces. And I think that did flow through to the viewers. Well, it did to me anyway. So that I did appreciate. And I thought that was really cool as well. And I think alongside that, I would say that it did teach me that I've got so much more to learn. The scope, there's just so much that I've not explored anyway. So I'm so keen to dive deeper and see what else there is. I left feeling so inspired and ready to get my hands into the world of quilting. So I'm nervous, but keen to also try to understand sort of again the effort and the time it takes to actually produce something. At least maybe just starting off with a blog and just seeing how it goes from there. So if you are already a quilter, these are some of the lessons that I learned from the Festival of Quilts. If you've already got this experience, I would love to hear what quilting has taught you, some of the lessons that you have gained from the craft, and what you think is also worth noting. And if you're new, like me, do you think you would give it a go based on some of the things that I've said, or on your own experiences? Did you go to Festival of Quilts? I'd love to hear what you have to say as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in some of the things that I've got coming up as well within the world of sewing, knitting and crochet, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next one.